You here now? If I'm talking, like you can hear it on the one, like it's playing at the same time. You, but I'm saying is my voice the same as me talking? It's not like a delay. Hold on, Salaki Israel, give me 1 second. We finna get this together. Salakia Israel, can y'all hear me? If y'all could, Baba Kashab, put a 1 in the chat. I'm gonna have to stream it like this for right now. Hey, Matam Yad, is it like a delay from me talking? Like you seeing my lips move versus the audio? Is it a delay or it's on point? Okay, Most High in Christ. Shalom, Israel. Yahba Hashem Yahushua Barakathum to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Lathan Ba Hashem Yahushua to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Karan Yala, the ISUBK, under Commandant General Yana. And this is the Monday night history class. So tonight is going to be somewhat of an interlude. If you've been paying attention to the past couple of weeks, as far as the Northern California, Monday night history class, we've been going over the book of Maccabees. So in previous classes, I was just giving brothers and sisters, the scriptures and breaking down scriptures as far as actually reading out the scriptures. But today I want to do something a little bit different. Salakia, I'm gonna have to stream it like this because the laptop that I'm using, you won't be able to hear my audio, but I got a lot of tabs on this laptop that I need in order to give brothers and sisters a visual of who these people were, who who were the faces, you understand, of the Greek Empire during the time of Alexander and about a couple hundred years after he passed as well. You understand? So Salakia, of course, we're gonna get to the scriptures. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna share a screen. Just in 1 second, Bubba Kashab, bear with me. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm about to share this screen so y'all could be right along with me. Mm. Okay, let me get there with y'all. Okay. So now let's get into some context of the history of the book of Maccabees. All right. Now we're gonna start off with first Maccabees chapter 1, and we're gonna start at verse 1. Now I'm not gonna really go over the whole the entirety of these chapters, but I want to give you some context of these chapters so you can see the people in the Bible in these verses, and then I'm gonna correlate other resources that you can find online yourself, and I'm gonna actually show you the sculptures of these men that were created of them as while they were living. You understand? And it happened after that. Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius of the Persians and Mede, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. Now, this is talking about so-called Alexander the Great. You understand? And him being the first ruler over the Greeks. You understand? But we have to go a little bit before his time so you can understand what kind of stock he came from and who was his actual father. You understand? So give me a second. Okay, now up on the screen now, you see a guy named Philip II of Macedon, or Philip the Macedonian, as we just read in the book of the first book of Maccabees in the first chapter. You understand? These are a couple of sculptures of this Greek or this Macedonian general. You understand? He was a general before Alexander became the first to reign over the Greeks. You understand? This is Alexander's father, right? Well, let's get a little bit of background and history of him. You know, this just a quick Google search. You understand? Quick Wikipedia research. Anybody can look this up fairly easy. You understand? But I want to give the viewers, brothers and sisters, some context of the people that we talking about and give you a visual of them. You understand? Now, I don't know if you can tell by looking at this sculpture of this person, but this man is clearly a so-called Caucasian. You understand? As are all Greeks. You understand? Macedonians, so forth and so on. You understand? Salakia. And Salakia, just to correct that a little bit, all of the original people claiming to be Greeks, you understand, were of Caucasian race. You understand? So let's get into it. Philip of Macedon, right? About 382 BC to 21 October 336 BC was the king of the ancient kingdom of Macedonia from 359 BC until his death in 336 BC. He was a member of the Seleucid Dynasty, founders of the ancient kingdom and the father of Alexander the Great. The rise of Macedon, including its conquest and political consolidation of most of classical Greece during his reign, was achieved by reforming of the army, the establishment of the Macedonian phalanx that proved critical in securing victories on the battlefield. So basically what he was famous for, or his type of war was famous for, they had these long sticks or what have you. You understand? And these was like war weapons. So he instituted that his men use these sticks, you understand, in order to keep the enemy at bay during the time of them going to war. Now, in his time, this was like a new thing. You understand? Of course, he comes from the era of people fighting with bow and arrows or swords and shields. You understand? But the establishment of the Macedonian phalanx that proved critical in securing victories on the battlefield. His extensive use of siege engines and his use of effective diplomacy and marriage alliances. You understand? So he was very skilled and strategic on how he dealt with other peoples in order to make his in order to have political alliances, you understand, in order to make his kingdom thrive. Let's read a little bit more on them. After defeating the Greek city-states of Athens, Thebes at the Battle of Caronia in 338 BC, Philip II led the effort to establish a federation of Greek states known as the League of Corinth. Now, if you're familiar with the New Testament, that word Corinth, you understand, the book of Corinthians. Well, Corinth is basically a area where a lot of these Greeks lived at. You understand? This is where you get the name Corinthians. This is why a lot of people that were Israelites lived in this land. We're going to get into the Hellenization of the Israelites in just a moment. You understand? With him as the elected headman and commander-in-chief, is to watch you can hear it good. Salakia. Elected headman and commander-in-chief of Greece for a planned invasion of the Achaemenid Empire of Persia. However, his assassination by a royal bodyguard, Pausanias of Orestes, led to the immediate succession of his son Alexander, who will go on to invade the Achaemenid Empire in his father's stead. So, because he got assassinated early on, well, I don't want to say early on, but he wasn't able to complete his mission. This is what put Alexander in position to be the next in line up to finish his father's mission or his task, so to speak. You understand? We're going to go a little bit more about his life, and then we're going to get into who his son was. Early life. Philip was born in either 383 or 382 BC and was the youngest son of King Amyntas III and Eurydice of Lynkestis. Salakia, these Greek words be throwing me off. He had two older brothers, Alexander II and Perdiccas III, as well as a sister named Eurino. Amyntas later married another woman, Gagea or Gigea Salakia, with whom he had three sons. Philip's half brothers, Archelaus, Arhidius, and Menelaus. After the assassination of Alexander II, Philip was sent as a hostage to Illyria by Ptolemy of Aloris. Philip was later held in Thebes, which at the time was the leading city of Greece. While in Thebes, Philip received a military and diplomatic education from Epimenides and lived in Pamines, lived with Pamines, who was an enthusiastic advocate of the sacred band of Thebes. Excuse me. In 364, Philip returned to Macedon. In 359 BC, Philip's other brother, King Perdiccas III, died in battle against the Illyrians. Before leaving, Perdiccas Salakia had appointed Philip as regent for his infant son Amyntas the fourth. But Philip succeeded in taking the kingdom for himself, which is a reoccurring and common theme of Edomites. You understand? They do shady business, and they don't they tend to break treaties and stuff like that in order for the benefits of themselves, which you see throughout history. But that was just a little bit on Philip. You understand? Let's get into his son, because his son is the most important piece to this puzzle. You understand, when concerning the Greeks, when concerning the Israelites being Hellenized, and when concerning the culture and the lifestyle of the Greeks to be perpetuated on Israelites in the Bible in the book of Maccabees. You understand? Slacky. So as y'all can see on the screen right here, you got a couple of sculptures and a portrait of Alexander. You understand? Once again, another so-called Caucasian man. It's clear as day. Slovakia. Alexander III of Macedon. Remember, Philip had a brother named Alexander II. You understand? It's not uncommon for people to name their children after older relatives and ancestors a lot of times. Not just Israelites did that, but heathens did that as well. Seleucia. Most commonly known as Alexander the Greek, was an ancient king, Seleucia, ancient Greek king of Macedon. He succeeded his father Philip II to the throne in 336 BC at the age of 20 and spent more of his ruling years conducting a lengthy military campaign throughout Western Asia, Central Asia, parts of South Asia, and Egypt. By the age of 30, he had created one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to Northwest India. He was undefeated in battle and widely considered to be one of the history's greatest and most successful military commanders. And that's absolutely correct. You understand? And the reason why Alexander is so greatly revered, Salaki, I'm going to come back to the screen and then I'm going to get some more information on it. The reason why Alexander is so greatly revered in history, you understand, especially by Edomites, is because, matter of fact, Seleucia, I got to go back to the book of Maccabees so we can get these scriptures again so you can see what the Bible said about Alexander. All right. Now, I got an article, and I'm gonna show you all this in a second. You understand? Salaki, I'm gonna go to the scripture first. Let me stop sharing that. Let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter. Y'all got y'all swords, go ahead and follow right along. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna share this real quick. Slacky, y'all, I'm new to this sharing these screens, but Lord allow I'll get way better at it and make these classes a little bit more professional. You understand? Okay, Most High Christ. So now let's go to the prophecy in Daniel. You understand that the Lord prophesied that the Lord used Daniel to prophesy. You understand? This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw a vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. Those four winds of heaven that sent Daniel seen strive upon the great sea. You understand? This is the destruction, you understand, that's coming from the four corners of the planet Earth. And that great sea is the Mediterranean Sea. You understand? Because what's going on in the Mediterranean Sea or in that area, that's where Jerusalem lives at. I mean, Salakia. That's where the land of Israel is located. You understand? And that's what the world is fighting over to this day. You understand? Salakia. Verse 3. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. And these four great beasts, this is four great empires that came from up under that rose from this area. You understand, so to speak, or had dominion over this area, right? Verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon Salakia. This first empire is talking about the Babylonian Empire. You understand? And when it says it has feet as a man and man's heart was given to it, it became a great nation. And this empire had a lot of wisdom and knowledge, you understand, in this empire. You understand? Just like you see a lot of these so-called pagan holidays, these are actually the worship of a lot of Babylonian gods. And your so-called Babylonians today would be the people of Cush. You understand? The so-called Ethiopians, Eritreans, so forth and so on. Those Africans, you understand, that Nimrod came from. You understand? Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar. These heathens came from that empire. You understand? Salakia. Verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in its mouth, in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said unto it, arise and devour much flesh. Now, this second empire is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. You understand? And when it says and it raised up itself on one side, you have the Medo-Persian Empire. That's what it was called, but it became to be known as the Persian Empire. You understand? Salakia. And it said, and it had three ribs in its mouth, in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. The Persian Empire is the empire that defeated the Babylonian Empire. You understand? That's why it says devour much flesh, because they went to war with the Babylonians and defeated them. You understand? Salakia. Verse 6. Excuse me. It's moving a little bit slow on my end. Verse 6. Salakia, why do you think many archaeological artifacts have broken nose? Hey, Matam Yad, that's a good question, right? For this reason, and I'm not 100% on this. I'm just speaking on this in common sense. You understand? But now, if I look at a person, you understand? If I see a statue of a person, like let's say somebody made a statue of me, and we didn't have the technology that we had with cameras and photographs and things of that nature. So you had to make a statue of me. You understand? my nose is a dead giveaway of what kind of person that I am. You understand? Like, you see the small hat people, how they call them hook nose. You understand? Well, that nose that they bear and got from their forefathers, that's a dead giveaway of who they are. You understand? And a lot of these statues, and like I said, this is not 100% facts. I'm just speaking from a common sense point of view and something that I think. You understand? So don't quote me as saying this is facts. But if you get rid of the nose of a statue, you can kind of hide the identity of what type of people that was. You understand? If that makes sense to you, Matamiyah. Salakia, verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon his back, Salakia, had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also, the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now, when it says, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, synonymous with the leopard is being swift or being quick. You understand? If you look at how quick it took Alexander to take over and him to usher in the kingdom of the Greeks, it only took him about 12 years. Now, that's a very a short amount of time to conquer, you understand, a lot of the land that he conquered and set his people up to be kings for hundreds of years. You understand? But this beast that's likened unto a leopard, this is talking about the Greeks. It says, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads. These 4 heads and these 4 wings is talking about the 4 generals that Alexander parted his kingdom to when he was on his deathbed. I'm going to get that in the scriptures. So, Lockie, I'm trying to be real quick. Get back to this. Back in the book of Maccabees. And it happened after Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. Remember, you got the Babylonians, you got the Persians and Medes that took over after the Babylonians, and then Salakia, Alexander, he smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, meaning he took over the known world at that time, and he reigned after Darius. You understand? The first over Greece. This is the first Caucasian man in history to be called basically the world ruler at that time. You understand? And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations. And so as much that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. Nobody want to smoke with Alexander. You understand? He went crazy, right? He won many wars. It said he won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. You understand? And the earth was quiet before him, meaning nobody wanted to go to war with Alexander. You understand? And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. They began to pay taxes to him. You understand? Like, if you pay taxes to somebody, you are a slave to them, period, point blank. You understand? If you have to pay a tribute to another nation of people, that nation of people rules over you. And Alexander and his men, they ruled over the known world at that time. You understand? And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable men, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. 12 years is uh, uh, um, a very short amount of time to have kings and nations and destroy many nations and strongholds. You understand? To where nobody wants any problems with you, and now everybody has to pay tribute to you. That is a very short amount of time. This is why the Daniel the 7th chapter likens the kingdom of the Greek as a leopard. You understand? Because they move real swift. You understand? And a leopard is a vicious animal. You understand? A leopard catch you out there, he gonna rip you limb from limb, and he's gonna get up on you with the quickness. You understand? It says he reigned 12 years and died. You understand? But let me go back up to verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. Now let's get into who these servants were, or these generals that reigned up under Alexander that he parted his kingdom to. Give me 1 second, Baba Kasha. Now let's go back to the Wikipedia of Alexander the Great, because we're reading internet sources that's talking about Alexander. These internet sources are not stating anything about the Bible, but they're saying exactly what the Bible says. I wonder why. You understand? Let me jump down. Salaki, give me a second. Okay. Alexander the Great's generals, the Great's four generals who divided his empire were Ptolemy. Ptolemy, he ruled in Egypt. You understand? Somewhere in that region, Egypt and the surrounding region of that. Cassander, I believe he ruled. Don't quote me on this. I believe Cassander, he ruled parts of India. I believe Seleucids or Seleucus, right? He ruled the Middle East, parts of Asia, up until India and Antigonus ruled Macedonia. You understand? Or Macedon, right? Now, let's get into the Seleucid Dynasty, because when you read in the book of First Maccabees, it names a certain group of people. You understand? Salakia. It names a certain group of people that are a key factor to the book of Maccabees and the Israelites being Hellenized. All right. So let's go back to the scriptures. Okay, so now Alexander, he reigned for 12 years. He did a number on planet Earth. Now he's finna die and he's parting his kingdom. You understand? First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bear every rule in his place. The reason why I'm saying his servant bear every rule in his place, because Salakia, bear rule in everyone in his place is because the kingdom of the Greeks, it was a large part of it was a large part of the Eastern world at that time. You understand? The majority of it. So he parted his kingdom and set up his 4 generals to reign in their own zone, so to speak. All right. Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in earth. So these Greeks up under Alexander, you understand, they started to be kings and pass down their kingship to their sons. You understand? And a lot of evilness started to come upon planet Earth at that time. You understand? Verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes. Now, the word epiphany means glorious or illustrious. You understand? The pride of these Edomites. All right. Son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. So now, let's get a little bit of history of this Antiochus of Epiphanes. All right. Salakia, that was the Lord magnified that for us. Salakia, Israel, if I'm moving slow, just getting the hang of this. Bear with me. Baba Kasha. The water for y'all patience. Now, boom. This is Antiochus the fourth, right? Y'all can see these sculptures of him while he was alive. Clearly, a Caucasian man once again. You understand? Let's get a little bit of history on him. I got a Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. I'm about to read a couple of lines out of this. You understand? I'm going to start out with his father first. Antiochus III, or Antiochus the Great, king of Syria and the 6th ruler of the Seleucid Dynasty. His victory over the Egyptians in 198 BC, Syria gained control of Palestine. He was decisively defeated by the Romans in 190 and thereby lost control over Asia Minor. He was murdered by a mob while plundering a temple. Typical Edomite stuff. He was stealing and got his head bust. You understand? Salakia. But Antiochus III, you understand? He was the 6th ruler of the Seleucid Dynasty. You understand? And they had control over Palestine, right? Now, after he was unalived, you understand, there was a king that reigned after him. And then the king that reigned right after the king that succeeded him was his physical son, named Antiochus the fourth, or Antiochus Epiphanes, or Antiochus the illustrious, or Antiochus the glorious. You understand? Now let's get some history on him. Antiochus the fourth Epiphanes was a Greek Hellenistic king who ruled the Seleucid Empire from 175 BC until his death in 164 BC. He was born a son of King Antiochus III the Great, originally named Mithridates. He assumed the name of Antiochus after he ascended the throne. Notable events during Antiochus's reign include his near conquest of Ptolemaic Egypt. We're going to get into that in a second. His persecution of the Jews of Judea and Samaria, and the rebellion of the Jewish Maccabees. Now we read the book of Maccabees and it has him by name. You understand? Not once did this Wikipedia Google search quote the Bible, say anything about the Bible, or name where you can find it in the Bible. You understand? But it's adding up to the scriptures pretty well. All right. Let's get some more history of him in the scriptures. Salaki, I'm gonna be doing a lot of back and forth to give y'all a visual. You understand? The Bible says, prove all things. And here in the ISUBK, we are taught to give no vague breakdowns. And in order to assume the office of a priest, you have to be a scholar. You understand? So, quick sidebar for all young men or troopers. You understand? You have to study to show yourself approved. You understand? In order to be a brother that can lead the people out of hell, so to speak. You understand? But Salakia. So now, Alexander. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, Salaki, not Alexander, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Of course, you got a lot of weak Negroes, how you do today. You understand, that envy the power of the oppressor and wants to be just like them. You understand? Salakia. Verse 13. Then certain of the people who were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. You understand? And the reason why he gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, it's the same thing as today. Your oppressor will give you a certificate to where you're able to give out marriage licenses. He'll give you a certificate or a license to be a police officer when you prove yourself to be worthy enough to follow his rules. Just like you can go in California and apply for a cannabis card or to be a grower. You understand? To grow cannabis. It was the same thing that was going on back in those days. You understand? You had wicked Israelite men that envy the power. You understand? And all of the different disgusting acts that these heathens did, and they wanted to be a part of it. You understand? So, and what they did was they basically went to go apply to be just like the heathen at that time. You understand? Verse 14, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. Now, this place of exercise, this is talking about the gymnasium. You understand? When you look at the history of the Olympic Games, where it's all about being as naked as you could lawfully on TV these days. Well, back then, during the time of the Greeks, the Olympic Games, Olympias, you understand? All of this is Greek customs and culture. You understand? Back in the times of the Greeks, Greek people used to walk around with zero clothes on. You understand? And this is what they did in gymnasiums. You understand? Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. This is exactly what was going on during the Hellenistic period of the Israelites. You understand? We were forced to follow their customs. I'm going to jump down. So I'm going to keep reading. Verse 16. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion over two realms. Remember, Antiochus, he reigned in the Middle East, and Ptolemy reigned, or the Ptolemaic dynasty reigned in Egypt. So Antiochus took it upon himself to go to war with his fellow Edomite brother, you understand, in order to have the dominion over two realms. You understand? I'm going to jump down. As we just read in Antiochus IV's Wikipedia, you understand? He was unsuccessful in taking the land of Egypt, but he did go to war with them. Salakia. Back to his Wikipedia one more time. I'm going to read this piece real quick, and then I'm going to jump back into the scriptures. Notable events during Antiochus' reign includes his near conquest of the Ptolemaic Egypt, his persecution of the Jews of Judea and Samaria, and the rebellion of the Jewish Maccabees. You understand? Now, this is talking about the book of Maccabees in the Bible. Now, watch this. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt and took spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof. Remember, and the Wikipedia said he persecuted the Israelites. This is right here in the scriptures. You understand? Salakia. And the table of the showbread and the pouring vessels and the vials and the censers of gold and the veil, the crown and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. Remember, his father was unalived, you understand, when he was what it said, he was ransacking the temple. He did exactly what his daddy did, you understand? He was unalived, you understand, for stealing out of somebody's temple, you understand? And he was stealing from the Lord's temple. a whole lot of precious metals. You understand that was for the service of the so-called your so-called Haitians, which would be the Levites. You understand, in the scriptures. All right. And when he had taken all Salakia, he took all the silver and gold and the precious vessels. Also, he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Therefore was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. We in a depressing state of mind. You understand? Our lives are in shambles because of this evil and wicked king, Antiochus IV Epiphanes. You understand? Salakia. Jump down to verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festivals days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said should die. Hold on, let me get a little bit more. In the self-same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers of all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city, commanding us to sacrifice pigs. You understand? Which is evil. You understand, in the sight of the Lord, because a pig is an unclean animal. And not only is it not allowed in our temple, we're not even allowed to touch their dead carcasses. You understand? Without being unclean for a certain amount of time. Then many of the people gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land and drove the Israelites into secret places and wheresoever they could flee to succor. Now, what we just read about right there in the scriptures was the Hellenistic period of the Israelites. You understand? Now, give me 1 second, Baba Kasha. I'm going to give you the history of the Hellenization of Israel. You understand? Okay, boom. Wait 1 second, should pop up. Okay, Hellenization. Hellenization is the adopt of Greek culture, religion, language, and identity by non-Greeks. In the ancient period, colonization often led to Hellenization of indigenous peoples in the Hellenistic period. Many of the territories which were conquered by Alexander the Great was Hellenized. Now, when you see that word colonization, Colonization is basically a nice word for saying another people came to somebody else's land and slaughtered them. You understand? Raped them and robbed them and basically did all type of criminality to another people in order for the benefit of their own selves, and forced those people that otherwise would have kept their own culture to assimilate to this new culture that they forced upon them by evils such as violence, so forth and so on. You understand? Etymology. The first known use of the verb that means Hellenize, or that means to Hellenize, was in Greek, and by Thucydides, 5th century BC, who wrote that Amphilochian Argives were Hellenized as to their language by Ambraciots or Ambraciots, which show that the word perhaps already referred to more than one language. The similar word Hellenism, which is often used as a symbol, is used in 2nd Maccabees, and the book of Acts, to refer to clearly much more than language, though it is disputed what they may have entailed. Now, when you read these scriptures and you understand the history of the Israelites and you understand the pedigree of the ISUBK Abundant Commander General Yohana, and you talk by a priest that's a scholar, you understand, you're going to understand exactly what Hellenize means. Hellenize means to force Hellenize meant to force Greek culture upon Israelites and the surrounding heathens that lived in those areas in order for the Israelites, not the Israelites, the Greeks or the Alexander, the generals that came from Alexander in order for them to conquer, gain, and maintain control over these other people. You understand? By the 4th century BC, the process of Hellenization has started in southwest Anatolia's Lycia, Caria, and Pisidia regions. First city fortifications at Pelum in Galatia, on Bazdag in Lithuania, Slovakia, and at Isauria are the only known Hellenistic style structures in central and eastern Anatolia. You understand? Well, where do I want to go? I need that. But you get the point. You understand? In order to keep control over these people, you understand? These Greeks, they forced their customs upon the Israelites. You understand? Now, let me get Salakia. So we read about Antiochus III, which was the father of Antiochus Epiphanes. We read about Antiochus IV or Antiochus Epiphanes. And at the end of this class, I'm gonna end it in a high second. At the end of this class, I'm gonna give you the Seleucid dynasties and some of the faces. You understand that came from Seleucid, which was one of the generals of Alexander. All right. We'll go back to the scriptures. So now you got King Antiochus Epiphanes. So like, let's get some more of this Hellenistic period in the scriptures. All right. Now the 15th day of the month Casliu in the 140 and 5th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judea on every side. This is the continuance of the Hellenistic period of the Israelites, forcing their customs on us, making us eat pigs or die, and so forth and so on. Verse 55, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the book of the law, which they found, they burned them with fire. So this was another piece of forcing Greek culture on the Israelites. They found the Torah, you understand, written in our language, written in Hebrew, you understand. They found the Torah or Torahs that they could find, you understand, which is the book of the law. You understand, the first 5 books that Moses was the author of, you understand. Found these books, ripped them up, and then burned them. You understand? Salakia. Verse 57. And whosoever was found with any book of the testament or of any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put them to death. This is how they forced Hellenization on the children of Israel. You do anything that righteous book, the Bible or that Torah that y'all have says, we killing you or we unaliving you. You understand? This is what Antiochus mandated when he had the kingdom up under his foot. Verse 58. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. So hold on. They didn't just do this one time. They did this every month. You understand? You know how you got to pay rent every month? Well, these Greeks went every month to see if a nigga was keeping a Sabbath, to see if somebody is going to refuse to eat pork. You understand? To see if brothers and sisters was accepting of alternative lifestyles. They did this every month. You understand? These were some evil people, right? Salakia. Verse 59. Now the 25th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God. At which time, according to commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. Now imagine that. They made a somewhat of their own holiday or high holy day, and they sacrificed pigs and other unclean animals on an altar that was on top of the altar of God, on an idol altar. You understand? So it was some type of statue or something that they worshiped that was on one of the altars of God. You understand? And they sacrificed unclean animals. And instead of the Israelites having a great time and us coming together for a holy convocation or a Passover or something like that, instead of us praising the Lord and thanking the Most High for our well-being and doing exactly what he was telling us, these Greeks got together in our temples, sacrificed unclean animals, and killed unalived any woman, you understand, that had the nerve to circumcise their sons. Verse 61. And they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that they had circumcised. It said they hung the infants about their necks. This is not just hanging an infant about the infant's neck. No, these filthy Greeks hung our babies around their own necks. You understand? As a token, look, if you follow them laws in that Bible, I'm going to unalive you and your baby, and I'm going to wear your baby around my neck like a goddamn ornament. You understand? Like a Jesus piece. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves to not eat any unclean thing. Wherefore, the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So they died. And they were very great, Salaki, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. You understand? That's what it means to be a soldier. You understand? For the brothers and the sisters. Brothers and sisters was soldiers, you understand, in keeping that law, because it's better for us to die than to sin against the Lord. You understand? You'll be back. Contrary to what the Christian church has taught you, you will be back. Salakia. I think I went too far. That was enough on that one. Let's get Salakia. Antiochus the fifth, the son of Antiochus. We gonna get into him. Shalom Yahba Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah. The water Yaraga Bar for tapping in. Appreciate it. Shalom Yahweh Shemar Lataba Shem Yahweh Shah. The water sis for tapping in. Izara. Appreciate it. Okay, where was I going next? Boom, boom, boom. Next chapter. Next chapter. Next chapter. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna share the screen real quick. Now we come. I'm gonna skip to the end of Antiochus Epiphanes' reign, because of course this class is just showing you the faces of who these people was. You understand? So I'm not necessarily really getting into the wars between the children of Israel. I'm merely just showing you the perpetrators of the people that persecuted the Israelites. You understand? This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 6. And I'm gonna start at verse 12. But now I remember the evils that I did at Jerusalem, and that I took all the vessels of gold and silver that were therein, and sent to destroy the inhabitants of Judea without a cause. I perceive therefore that for this cause these troubles are come upon me, and behold, I perish through great grief in a strange land. So just a quick recap to get y'all up to speed on what Antiochus Epiphanes is so and heavy heart about. His efforts on persecuting the Israelites, taking over this great city. You understand that Alexander had left treasures there. The city was called Salakia, Elamaeus. You understand? Everything that Antiochus Epiphanes had put his mind to, it began to crumble. You understand? He began losing wars. He began losing money. You understand? He began losing land because Mattathias and Judas Maccabees, which was Mattathias' son, these brothers were zealous for the law. You understand? So the Lord became an enemy to the Greeks. You understand? Because you had stand-up brothers, like I just read at the end of First Maccabees, the first chapter, that would rather die than to be a sinner. You understand? So after a while, Antiochus, his deeds started to fail him. You understand? And he perceived like, look, man, I'm at the end. You understand? I couldn't prosper. And the reason why I didn't prosper is because I did all of these evil things against these Israelites without a cause. You understand? So he was basically on his deathbed, like, look, man, it's over for me. You understand? Everything that I set my mind to be great in, it's failed me because I was evil to these Israelites. I'm about ready to give up the ghost. You understand? Verse 14. Then called he for Philip, one of his friends, who he made ruler over all his realm, and gave him the crown and his robe and his signet, to the end he should bring up his son Antiochus and nourish him up for the kingdom. Now this Antiochus is Antiochus the fifth. You understand? Verse 16. So King Antiochus died there in the 140th and 9th year. You understand? So Antiochus, the fourth Epiphanes, he died. You understand? Then he passed the kingdom unto his son. You understand? Let's get a little bit of history about his son. It ain't really too much history on his son because his son reigned for a short amount of time. You understand? But we gonna talk about his son nonetheless because he is named in these scriptures, and this is history. Okay, boom. Salakia, jumped the gun. I needed to get into his son, or his son being named in the scriptures. Verse 17. Now when Lysias knew that the king was dead, he set up Antiochus his son, whom he had brought up being young, to reign in his steed, and his name was called Eupator. Now let's get into Antiochus Eupator. Keep in mind, I want to give brothers and sisters a visual on the culprits. You understand? That actually had a hand in the children of Israel. You get to see them by face tonight, as far as the statues and coins. You understand? Here you go, Antiochus the fifth, or Antiochus Eupator. You understand? Which Eupator means noble, right? You see his face? Ding, ding, ding. Another Caucasian. You understand? Another devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? Blessed with the sword. You understand? I'm gonna get that before I end the class off. Bear with me, Israel. Antiochus the fifth Eupator, whose epithet means of a good father, was a ruler of the Greek Seleucid Dynasty who reigned from late 164 to 161 BC, based on dates from First Maccabees 6 and 16 and 7 and 1. Oh, they bringing the scriptures into it. Salakia. At first, they wasn't even naming the scriptures in these Wikipedia searches. Early life and succession. Antiochus V was only 9 years old when he succeeded the kingship, following the death in Persia of his father Antiochus V Epiphanes and his mother Laodice IV. The general Lysias, who had been in charge of Syria by Epiphanes, served as a regent for the child. Although he was challenged by other generals, the Roman Senate kept Demetrius, son of Seleucid the fourth, and the rightful heir to the throne, as hostage, refusing to release him because they considered it better to have Syria nominally ruled by a boy and his regent than the 22-year-old Demetrius. Now, like I said, King Antiochus V, his reign was very short. You understand? And he reigned for for all of 2 years. You understand? Which was not a long time at all. You understand? Salakia. Let's go back to the scriptures. Give y'all a little bit more history in these scriptures. I'm gonna jump to First Maccabees, the 7th chapter. This is the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 7. In the 150th year, Demetrius, the son of Seleucus, departed from Rome. Remember, Demetrius, like I just read in the Wikipedia, he was a son of Seleucus the fourth, and he was a hostage at Rome. Well, he departed from Rome and came up with a few men unto a city of the seacoast and reigned there. And he was the rightful heir, you understand, of the Seleucid Dynasty. You understand? Remember, earlier in the class, Antiochus III, you understand, he took reign over the kingdom, you understand, of the Seleucid Dynasty, Salakia, what's the word I'm looking for? Unrighteously, so to speak, or dishonestly. You understand? It was supposed to always be somebody of the Seleucid lineage, you understand, or the Seleucid stock, to be of the kings of the Seleucid dynasty. You understand? And Seleucid the fourth, you understand? Or Salaki, not Seleucid the fourth. Demetrius, son of Seleucus the fourth, was the rightful heir to the throne. So when he got out of being a hostage at Rome, you understand, it says, and came up with a few men into the city of the seacoast and reigned there. And as he entered into the palace of his ancestors, so it was that his forces had taken Antiochus and Lysias to bring them unto him. Wherefore, when he knew it, he said, let me not see their faces. So the host slew them. Now when Demetrius was set upon the throne, now when Demetrius was set upon the throne of his kingdom, there came unto him all the wicked and ungodly men of Israel, having Alchemus, who was desirous to be high priest for their captain. You understand? I ain't gonna really get into Demetrius today. You understand? I'm gonna say that for another interlude, the faces of the Seleucid dynasty. You understand? But before I leave, I'm gonna get a couple script. I'm gonna get one scripture, and then I'm gonna give y'all a couple of the names of the kings of the Seleucid dynasty, as well as some of their pictures. You understand? Before I leave off, the water to y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate it. Salakia, we gonna get this this StreamYard up and running a little bit better than today, so I ain't got to stream from two cameras. Salakia. We're gonna go to Genesis chapter 27 real quick. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 40. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. You understand? That's exactly how Edomites live. You understand? This is exactly how the Greeks lived. You understand? They lived by the sword. You understand? And when they had the dominion, they broke the yoke off of their neck, and the yoke off of their neck that King David and the Israelites had when he had the Edomites in servitude. And when they got the dominion with Alexander, you understand, they start persecuting and slaughtering the children of Israel. Salakia. I got one more. Got one more screen share for y'all, so y'all can get another visual of these Edomites. Another quick Google search. You can see a lot of these coins and statues. You understand? You got Antiochus III right there. You know, Alexander. So forth and so on. You understand? Ooh, look at this one. You can't tell me that ain't a Caucasian. I think I got a list for y'all too. Slovakia. Give me 1 second. Computer move kind of slow. Okay, if y'all can see, you got yeah, this is a list of them, and pictures of statues and coins. You understand? I'm not gonna name all of them just for time's sake. You understand? But you got Antiochus the fourth, Epiphanes, Seleucus the fourth, Philopator, Antiochus the second, Theos. You understand? Demetrius second, Decatur, Salakia. The list goes on and on. You understand? You got Eupator on here, Alexander, of course, which is the one that gave the Seleucid Dynasty, you understand, they seat as being a ruling party or a ruling family. You understand? So forth and so on. As you can tell by all of these pictures, these are Caucasians. You understand? These are the Edomites that called themselves Greeks. You understand? And slaughtered and unalived people by the millions. You understand? And pushed their culture on the world at that time. You understand? The water for everybody for tapping in, rocking with me. Salakia. Shit. The water everybody for tapping in. You understand? Rocking with the class tonight. Y'all Bashim Al Shah Baraka Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Allah Thun Bashim Al Shah to the sisters. Make sure y'all share this class. You understand? Because it's important to understand the faces of these people that instituted white supremacy. You understand? This is where white supremacy comes from. You understand? The Greeks and everything you know about white supremacy. You understand? Lord allow, I'm gonna try to keep these classes as far as the Monday night history class as a series, getting into the Maccabees, because without the history of the Greeks, you won't understand the culture and the mind frame of Caucasians throughout history. You understand? With that being said, Shalom, Israel.